Well, it's good morning to His Worship, Khal Asfour, Councillor Khal Asfour, the Mayor of Canterbury Bankstown, the biggest LGA in New South Wales, one of the biggest in the country. We're glad to be talking to him on the morning as Ramadan has ended, which is such a remarkable experience in southwest Sydney, which has been a good period, not so good period. It's also a period when the Bulldogs haven't really won a game in some time, so I won't blame the Mayor for that. But good morning, Khal, and you're in the slot for another election on September 4. How's it trending in Bankstown?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a tough election. Elections always are tough. You need to stand by your record and hope that your visions that align with that of the community, so they can re-elect you. And I think my record is there for all to see. I've been in local government for quite a while now, and the community is on board, I believe, and I hope. So, looking forward to meeting the voters, which I do every day anyway, but asking them for their votes. I'll continue, I think, delivering on the vision that I have for our city, and that's a vision of jobs, a vision of growth, a vision of planned development, and community support. So all those things are important.
You're a glutton for punishment, right? 2004, first elected to Bankstown Council. You're older than your own kids. I mean, you've been plugging away, servicing the good people of Bankstown and now Canterbury Bankstown for a long while. Are you getting better at it? What have you learned along the way? What makes you a better man now than you were first time round?
Look, I hope that I've got better at it, but I think it's all cyclical as well. Things come and go, things change. And you got to roll with the punches, I guess. You got to just, it's always a moving feast. And being the mayor of a council so large, so many different communities, so many different expectations, so many different service demands from local government. So we need to, I guess, look at that. And I find it challenging. Every day I learn something new.
As you know, you and I share a passion for the ludicrous situation of Artarmon, one of the most monocultural suburbs in Australia, being home to SBS, the national multicultural broadcaster, when we could easily see that move to something like Bankstown, Campsie, somewhere in your electorate. I mean, most of SBS live in Dulwich Hill. It's 2 stops on the metro, and they're going to be there. We're getting a bit of traction together with the federal government, looking at that. Why should SBS think about relocating its home from the leafy North Shore to the multicultural dynamic streets of Canterbury Bankstown?
First thing is it's in the SBS Charter. The second thing is we've got a ready-made site, perfect for them. We've got a metro that's at Campsie. We've got a site that's ready to go to work with them. We can do it in a way where it's cost neutral, effectively cost neutral to SBS and to the government.
Lower rent to pay the cost of relocation.
Yeah, that's right. And they get a brand new building, brand new studio. And what I said at the beginning, this is about jobs. This is about multicultural broadcaster having people that work there that are from multicultural communities, that understand multicultural Australia, understand Western Sydney. Now, a lot of times it's very hard to get to from Western Sydney using public transport. There's no reason why it can't be, you can't call Campsie home, SBS Square.
You are the accessible West, effectively.
Oh, definitely. We've got a metro where we're very close to the city. We're very close to Parramatta. So we're really centrally located. And I know we share the passion about central Sydney and central city. There is a need for us to not be bypassed. And SBS is just one of the many things that I think can be, I guess, enacted by leadership from the minister, the federal minister, by leadership by the SBS board, and to come through and deliver a brand new SBS in Campsie. It makes sense that, and we've done the legwork, we've done the cost analysis. It can work. People can still work here that live in the eastern suburbs. There's no reason why they can't cross the Anzac Bridge.
So SBS comes to Canterbury Bankstown. It brings creative industry, knowledge and tech jobs. It helps revive the downtown community. It justifies a metro stop, and it allows the people of Southwest Sydney a better chance to tell their own stories via their
it's a win-win-win-win, and it really is. And I think it's important. This is not just about the newsroom or the studios. This is about all the staff, and this is about producing better Australian quality programming. And why not do it here in the heart of multicultural Australia? On that thought alone, it makes sense.
So if some might consider that a Dorothy Dixon question, let me flip it over. A lot of people saying, why is Canterbury Bankstown still whinging about getting a multi-billion-dollar metro to its front door? Tell me why there's a sort of ambiguity about metro coming when most cities will give their left arm for that.
I think the problem occurs because the government decided to remove a heavy rail line and replace it with a metro. I think if it was a metro, a new metro line, as opposed to one replacing heavy rail, everyone would have got behind it. But the reality is that's what they're doing. They're ripping up an old line and replacing it with a metro line, which will be great for the area at the end of the day. But the reality is, they had an opportunity to build a new line that caters for areas that don't have rail at the moment or don't have good public transport at the moment. They missed that opportunity. We gave them an opportunity to underground the metro at Bankstown Station. Again, they refused to do that.
The train line separates the city, divides, a bit like old
Newcastle. So Bankstown's where the metro is going to end, and heavy rail will then continue on to Liverpool and to Lincoln. So they had a chance to underground it, to have an integrated station. Instead, we don't get that either. They're going to be, half a kilometre apart. People are going to have to walk from one end to the other. There's no integration. Further to that, we've asked them at least to upgrade the train stations along the way to again get better amenity for our community. They're just going to give them a lick of paint, Chris. They're not spending the money. We asked them. They were initially going to provide straight platforms. Now they're not. They're going to make them curved with mechanical gap fillers. It's just constantly looking at ways to cheapen their investment in our city, and that's what I'm sick and tired of.
The ambiguity comes from lost opportunity, that it could have been so much better.
That definitely could have been so much better. But I think their issues are that they overblow their budgets. They did that with the light rail. They're doing it with the metro. And at the end of the day, our community always seems to suffer. And I'm sick of it. I mean, we're the largest council in the state. I think the government needs to start treating us as such.
So you just launched a thing called Evolve, or CB Evolve, Canterbury Bankstown Evolve, the modernisation, that your vision, strategic vision for the city. As I understand it, there's three real cores around that. There's your Canterbury Campsie, from the racecourse, the riverfront, SBS sort of area. But there's Bankstown CBD, that we speak about the metro, and we'll come back to there with hospitals and universities and things coming, and maybe Bankstown Airport in the future, the site of possible advanced manufacturing. Do you think, does Canterbury Bankstown need to look backwards in a way to go forward? Should it be rediscovering its base as the place where Australians used to make things? Is advanced manufacturing your future within sort of a tech future, different to the old factories, reborn, re-evolved?
I think it's coming. I think advanced manufacturing is happening as we speak around the world, and we need to take every opportunity we can to bring more jobs to our local area. We don't need a majority of our residents travelling outside of our area to go to work every day to earn their bread and butter. And we need to take every opportunity that we can now, whether it's education, whether it's health and lifestyle precincts, whether it's advanced manufacturing. These things are very important because they bring jobs, and the SMEs around here are, giving them an opportunity to grow, to expand, and to be able to invest or to be able to trade with international partners now. This is what's going to keep our economy rolling and moving and our GDP increasing. Now, the CB Evolve really was looking at the master plans of Bankstown and Campsie, but we're going to be master planning all our town centres, and we've got about 45 of them at last count. So it's a long, I guess, rolling timetable. But I'll tell you what our city and our residents are really sick of, and that's ad hoc planning proposals. People just putting in a planning proposal, looking at it on its own and not really consulting about the impact it has on the wider city. So what we're doing with the master plan is actually planning the entire town centre. So no one can come in with a planning proposal. This is your, your height. This is your floor space. This is what you can build. But this is also, it goes further than that. It goes further into sustainable buildings. We don't want any gas in future buildings. We want them all electric with solar panels, a minimum of 40%, but more like 60% of the roof with solar panels. We want to cheapen the cost of living for our residents. If there's no gas bill and there's a lower electricity bill, we think that that's a win. But we're also making the building sustainable. I think that's very important. But along with that, we know we need more open space. We know that we don't want buildings to become derelict. We know that we need affordable housing for our community. So all these things have been looked into and investigated, and we're bringing out, I think, Australia-leading policies into what the future of development is around these town centres. I'm not banning gas everywhere in the city. I'm saying that the future buildings in these two town centres must be sustainable and forward-thinking.
Because I think the first wave of manufacturing didn't lead to, your impression of Bankstown particularly wasn't of the big sustainable paradise. It was old school manufacturing. So you're saying the next wave can have, it's not amenity or productivity, you can have both and sustainability all at the same time.
Totally, and they all sort of revert back to jobs, Chris. It's all about jobs, whether it's in the construction, whether it's in the...
And maybe another metro that links the new airport through to Bankstown Airport and up around that way too. So you might have a second metro coming through the space. Or Bankstown, Cogra, north-south.
That's another point, Chris. I mean, the transport plan has a Cogra to Parramatta via Bankstown link. It doesn't sort of put any money towards it. It says it's something we want in the future. We think the thinking should be brought forward. And whether we can build a metro now and probably there's no money for it, and I understand that, but that doesn't mean they can't have links, right? It doesn't mean that we can't set up some sort of link there that produces a corridor. That
busway now, or something of that nature now, electric buses, or they can manage that.
Those are the ideas being bandied around, but we know that Parramatta is going to be a jobs centre. We know the CBD will always be a job centre, and we know we're located right in the middle. But we also know that there's no north-south links. Stacey Street links the Shire to northwest and to Western Sydney. There's no link. So what we're saying is there needs to be a rethinking about more north-south linkages and less east-west linkages in Sydney.
A quick one on the CBD before we wrap up. You're getting the magnificent SU campus. As a former director thereof, I've tried signing off on that. It's a great development next to the wonderful Brian Brown Theatre. We all hope that we've got a vicinity wanting to redevelop a shopping centre there, old school shopping centre, too much footprint, want to go up rather than go across, opportunities there. And let's hope, unless political shenanigans take place, we'll soon be able to announce the new downtown Bankstown Hospital, state-of-the-art facility coming downtown so people can access it. It's a pretty good head start for a rebuilding city, isn't it? Alongside Bankstown Sports and everything they do there with their Flinders Centre, you have to be pretty excited about the future of the downtown.
I'm totally excited, but it's been a long time coming, Chris. Like, I've been working to get to this, point for years, and the council and taking the community along with me. See, it's not just about me having a vision, it's about the community coming along for the ride and talking to them.
And you got their confidence. I mean, Canterbury Council particularly lost their confidence because all the shenanigans were...
There were plenty problems there, and ICAC's opened them up, and we know what they were, and there's been a line drawn in the sand about that. That's why the master plan
trust with the council again now. Have you rebuilt that trust with the community?
Look, I'd like to think we do, but it's a work in progress, to be honest. And that's fair enough. I don't blame the community for having sort of those doubts because of what happened at the old Canterbury Council. But that's what the master planning is all about. So they know that there's no way that that this stuff will ever happen again. We've got the best governance models that we can get. We're following every recommendation that ICAC has put forward. But that's a work in progress, and the trust will come back. once the proof is in the pudding. So once we get to deliver on what we say we're going to deliver, and the community consulted and engaged as we go through that process, then I think the trust will come back. And I have faith that it will, because we're really working hard to make sure that our city is the best it can be in sustainability, in environmental terms, in planning, in community support, which is another one. So, we have 130.
Let's play a little barrel bingo before we go. You come just ending Ramadan, you've been out feasting, you're not joining the community. Across the Shire, best Lebanese feed. Where do I go?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot there, Chris.
Absolutely.
Best Lebanese feed. I go Al Asil and Jabran's. They're my two favourite.
Done. Best Vietnamese feed.
There's the Pho restaurant down opposite the sports club.
Best thing to do on the third Tuesday of every month at Bankstown Arts Centre.
The fourth Tuesday, and it's the Bankstown Poetry Slam.
Saw Omar Musta there last week. It was wonderful.
That's right.
Sarah Mansour herself is the featured artist next time. Best thing to do on a Sunday afternoon with the family.
Usually, it used to be go down to Belmore Sports Ground and watch the doggies play. Not anymore. For me, it's just going for a walk and some biking with the kids down at the local park, which we have over 550 parks. We've got a beautiful river. We've got two. We've got the Cooks River and the Georges River. So we've got plenty of national parks in our local city as well. And I'm working really hard to make sure we improve that amenity as well, because I think we've been lacking in our waterways and waterways management for decades in this.
As we say to government, you can't be the central river city if we're going to let the rivers die. So people of Balmain and Balmoral and Bondi get to go for a dip after work. The people of Bankstown are denied the same opportunity. We need to get those rivers back for recreational access.
Yeah, they tell me 50 years ago people were swimming in those rivers, or maybe for 100 years ago, but you can't swim in them now. But I think we need to think about, obviously, the vegetation, the marine life, and what we can do in the future, if they are clean, to make them recreational facilities for our community.
I put most of my problems down to having spent too much time swimming in Lake Parramatta as a kid too, and coming up with the algae. Why am I radiating green, Mum? The algae. So we on our watch, we've got to change that. We've got to make the Central River City proud of its rivers again. If we just get them all to be as bad as the Lane Cove River, we're doing well. Of course, the North Shore River in the Central City's doing okay. It's the rest we got to fix up. Mate, thank you for your time. I'm sure the ultimate Dorothy Dixon telling people what they should do on September 4, vote would be the most important thing.
I have faith that my record is there for all to see. I'm delivering on what I promised, and I'm working hard to make sure that I stay engaged with our community, with my community, with all 130 different language groups, with all the different faiths, with all the different socioeconomic factors that take place, especially with COVID over the past year and a half and the impact it's had. And I've really been, impressed with the resilience our community organisations have taken it upon themselves to help those in our community that are needy, that are desperate. And, I think that's only happened because we have a great relationship. We have a great working relationship with our community organisations. And that will hopefully get me over the line on September 4.
Well, to the risk of offending a bunch of others, I say to you, there's been 3 great mayors in Western Sydney on my watch. Dave Borgia when he was in Parramatta, Ned Manood in Liverpool, and Khal Asfour in Bankstown, Canterbury Bankstown. I reckon the punters aren't silly. They'll keep you there doing what you're doing. We look forward to an SBS-enabled Bankstown, a extended metro-enabled Bankstown, a advanced manufacturing-enabled Bankstown, a hospital, a university. It's quite amazing, and that hasn't just happened all on its own, mate. So congratulations. Thank you for your commitment within the dialogue. Thank you for being part of us going to East London and seeing what urban renewal really can be. And I know you took a lot of ideas away from that as well to aspire. So good luck and Godspeed, my friend. And we'll see you out the back with the Poetry Slam soon.
Thanks, Chris.